Okay, Mix 97.7, we're happy to have on the line with us now famed relationship therapist Dr. Ish Major, who is one of the stars of WeTV's X-Isle, which is on WeTV on Friday nights at 10 o'clock. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Mark. How are you today?
I'm good. You got yourself into a sticky situation here, huh?
Look, I think our ex-couples are trying to get me into a sticky situation.
So, now, are all of the couples that are on this island, of course, they're either in the process of breaking up or have they already split? Are they married people? What's the deal?
Correct, Mark. So they are all ex-couples. We have one ex-married couple, and then the rest are ex-boyfriends and ex-girlfriends who are supposedly broken up or are in the process of trying to break up. But for whatever reason, Mark, they keep getting in each other's way, and it's not quite happening.
So now, and this happens every day in people's lives. When people start to split, they just don't go their separate ways. Why is that? Do they really not want to break up?
Well, you know why? Because I think, Mark, that's part of the reason, because we don't want to see it as another failure, right? We feel like it's a loss, and so our brain tricks us into believing that the loss of anything is a failure. But don't think of a relationship loss as a failure, because we're not supposed to be with everybody we date. That's just the truth. And so take the blessing, learn the lesson, and move on down the road, and say that magic word when it comes to dating: next.
All right, but what in the case of the married couple? That's a
right.
little different, right?
So Sean and Samantha it's a little more tricky because they have been married and they've got a small child in the process. Mm-hmm. And so we've got to figure out a way to do this healthily in a manner of what's best for him, their little baby son, right? And so now we've got to figure out a way to do this amicably, healthily, no drama, and nobody destroying the other parent to the child. And so there's going to be a connection, so we've got to figure out a way how to move forward and be friends. And a lot of us out there have that issue.
Yeah, well, and I got a feeling that's not going to happen because it's on TV, and that would be boring if everything went smooth.
Well, you know what? Surprisingly, our couple surprised us in the end. They have some real strength there, but it's just a matter of holding their feet to the fire through those exercises we put them through to get them to the point of realizing this is what we have, and this is what we need to have moving forward.
So now, okay, let's just deal with the couples that are in. Say you're in a long-term relationship, or you're married, and you're going to split. Usually, one person wants out, the other person doesn't. Mm-hmm. But why is it so hard to just say, okay, this is not working, let's just go our separate ways? Why can't people just do that?
Sure. Well, because we feel like we're failing at something, and we've got a lot on the line. It's not a clean break when you've been in a long-term relationship. We got finances to think about. We've got a home to think about. We've got property. We've got friends we've got to divorce from also, right? We've got all these other issues. Who's going to take the kids to school? Who's going to get this weekend? So we've got all these other issues, and a lot of times they're really just distractions, Mark. What I call it is their relationship anesthesia. They numb you to the pain of what's really there and why you really should leave, and they just end up being excuses as to why we stay, because if we're looking at it clearly, we know that we're better apart, and that just needs to happen. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Do it quickly, endure the pain for 5 seconds, and then you can move on with your life.
Should somebody who's getting out of a long-term relationship jump right into something else?
Oh, absolutely not. Here's what the research tells us. It takes men, you and me, at least 9 months to get over a rough breakup. Takes women about 3. So you've got to give it 3 months minimum. Heal yourself first. Be healthy first. Wrap your head around why things happen and why you are now currently single, and then be able to move forward to give yourself wholly to that next person. You don't want to cheat them, and you don't want to cheat you. And it sounds corny, but I say you don't want to cheat love.
But a lot of people get hung up on issues. Of course, everybody's got issues. Should they just stop asking why it didn't work?
Well, here's what you don't want to do when it comes to a breakup, Mark. You don't want to play the blame game. It was your fault or this was my fault, because nobody wins. Everybody feels worse at that point. And you don't want to continue to tell your breakup story from the point of, oh, woe is me, this always happens, how to change your relationship breakup story. Listen, this was a great guy, but it just didn't work. Or this was what happened, and this is what I did wrong, and this is what I learned from it, and look where I am now. Then give yourself the proper time and distance emotionally to separate from it before you jump back out there. But you cannot blame yourself, and you cannot keep retelling the story from the point of view of, woe is me, look what happened, I'm just a bad person.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have Carmen Electra is the host on this?
Oh, yes, she is.
Well, she's an expert in breaking up. I don't know about staying in a relationship.
Well, you know, the great thing about Carmen is she's been there and she's done that. And so, like you said, she has had some of the most notorious breakups that we have seen. And so what was really cool was that the couples were able to relate to her. They were having these tumultuous relationships, and she could get in there and she could relate with some of her stories, and they really bonded from that end. She became their friend. And the other cool thing about what Carmen did was when I get in there to beat him up, Mark, she would come in and give him some nice reward as well. So it was the yin and the yang. It was a nice balance between she and I.
Okay. So now before we let you go, can you give people like 3 quick tips on how to deal with a serious breakup, what they should do, 3 quick things?
Absolutely. So if you're coming from a serious breakup, number 1, don't blame yourself. Don't view it as a failure. Everything is not supposed to last, and you're not supposed to be with everybody you date forever and ever. So be able to understand why it ended, learn what you need to learn from it, and move forward, okay? Number 2, don't take that baggage into the next relationship. Don't blame yourself. Don't guilt yourself. And let go of the anger and the hate if this person did something wrong. It wasn't personal. Ask yourself, what else could that have meant when they lied to me? What else could that have meant when they cheated? And 9 times out of 10, when people do stuff bad to you, it doesn't have anything to do with you. Realize that and move on. 3rd tip, give yourself the time. Remember, women, take at least 3 months off and get out of that dating game before you jump back in. Guys, give yourself a little bit longer time, 9 months, and then you're ready to wholly give yourself to somebody new and get back out there and find that new love.
All right, relationship therapist Dr. Ish Major on Friday nights, 10 o'clock on WeTV, X Isle. Doctor, great talking to you. Thanks for taking a few minutes out.